There are two permitted ADUs one door away from each other where we have uncovered what appears to be fraudulent, incorrect, and missing information found throughout the permit process. Under these grounds, we are seeking to have these permits and associated applications revoked. While there are many issues with these particular permits, we will only cover a few here, as follows. Incomplete survey of the property in erroneous and misleading slope representations, deficient occupancy requirements, and no neighbor notification, thus precluding the appeals process. 2924 Arriba Way, where the first ADU will be located. According to the first American property search, there is an 8-bedroom, 5-bath house where in the past it has been creatively duplexed. We were told that city inspectors have said because the second kitchen did not possess an oven, there was nothing that could be done to stop adding units to this property in this way. 2924 also has 2 garages, one that is attached to the large existing main house, and another at the cul-de-sac, which we believe has a habitable bedroom upstairs. The ADU at 2924 will be a large box, 22 feet tall by 25 feet wide by 32 feet long. The structure will tower about 15 feet above the neighbor, with the deck facing the neighbor rather than facing the best view on the mountainside. This structure will have unimpaired views and access to the entire house and yard space of their neighbor. This privacy violation is egregious, considering this is a new build and could have been avoided through design. When asked by a neighbor what these ADUs would do to existing views or property values, the owner of 2919 and 2924 simply said, "It is of no concern of mine." Let's look at the slope for 2924 ADU project. As we come closer to the ADU build site, you can see the aggressive slope down the mountainside. Per the 1997 EO3 topo document, it indicates the cul-de-sac at 639.4 feet of elevation. And at the ADU build location, it is about 625 feet, or 14 feet below the cul-de-sac. Then just below the existing structure at 2924, the elevation drops considerably to 600 feet and then drops farther to 575 feet. So over a 50-foot drop within the same lot. While the 1997 topo is only one source for elevations, it is consistent with what is seen at the current ADU build site. The plans do not report this slope or elevations properly. There is a sheet inserted with surveyor information, but it is for a previous project in 2003 and does not include the elevations for the actual build site nor its driveway. We are all well aware that slope matters in high fire and debris flow areas. Let's now turn to 2919 Arriba Way, where the second ADU is being built. Currently there exists a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house with an attached garage. The ADU permit includes converting this garage into a bedroom and laundry, and possibly a future bath where it could also be creatively duplexed and rented as a studio. The ADU at 2919 will be a massive box built on cut and fill dirt brought up 10 to 15 feet above the main residence elevation. This unit will be only 650 square feet and will measure 29.6 feet tall, 50 plus feet wide, and 25 feet deep. The 650-foot apartment will be on the top floor, accessed only by an open metal staircase that has 4 switchbacks. They have effectively built a tower over 40 feet tall. That is 10 feet of cut and fill dirt, 13-foot garage, 6-foot mechanical layer, and an 11-foot 1-bedroom apartment on top. It should also be noted that a massive storage and garage space is indicative what some landlords in Santa Barbara will rent as habitable space once the permits are finalized. The houses to the south and east of this ADU will have aggressive privacy violations due to this structure towering more than 22 feet above them, with unimpeded views into their most private living areas, with no way to escape prying eyes. And once the owners have passed away or sold the property, renters will come and go from this small 1-bedroom space and have unfettered access to the private lives of their neighbors who once enjoyed mountain views since 1948. Let's look at the slope for 2919. According to the EO3 topo elevation document, The elbow of Ben Lomond Drive, which is located a mere 12 feet from the southeast corner of the 2919 Arriba Way ADU. The elevation here documented at 664.5 feet above sea level. As we walk over to the property, the palm tree you see below, according to the EO3 document, it is at 643.4 feet. But from this video, it appears to be much lower than 21 feet below us. The Arriba Way cul-de-sac is indicated as being at 639.4 feet, which is 25 feet lower than where we are standing. According to the plans submitted, the structure will sit only 4 feet below the top of this hill, exactly where the current excavation levels out in preparation for a foundation. This would require a driveway on 2919 that will have to be built up on loose fill dirt 10 to 15 feet to reach the garage floor. The city has a slope for this property at 18%, but the actual slope for the property is at a minimum 27%. That is a rise of a minimum of 21 feet over a run of 77.5 feet. Both of these permits are missing completed surveys and do not have proper elevation documents to address raised foundations and elevated driveways, nor do they have an approved erosion control plan, which is required. Where there is elevation lines, they are incomplete and/or contradict elevations in other locations. When slope percentages are mentioned, they are not accurate and do not match existing conditions at the build locations. Again, these permits do not indicate the sheer aggressiveness of the slope at these locations. And because the city was refused inspection during the permit process, they could only look at old erroneous data on file. Not to mention the owner's phone number is handwritten on the old document, which contains the slope determination for 2919. This is odd. It should be noted that the owner's father worked at the planning department for decades, and the owner is a contractor who may understand how to navigate and push the limits of existing guidelines and procedures. The owner might have known that getting the permit in early rather than correctly was more important due to upcoming ADU law changes that might affect the owner's plans to obtain more equity. I also wanted to cover the fact that Title 28 required the owner to be living on the property for permit issuance. The owner has rented 2919 for over 15 years and did not reside on the property. Also, an owner occupancy covenant was required for both permits, and they were both signed by the owner. These are all direct violations of this process. Lastly, there was zero neighbor notification, which took the rights away from law-abiding citizens to appeal these projects. In the case of both ADUs, when counsel for the concerned citizens requested the city to stand behind rules that were overlooked, the city responded with the following: the 10-day appeal period for those decisions has expired. It should be noted that any appeal period duration is not effective if persons who might want to appeal are not notified. Let's for a moment think about the fact that the owner here is a seasoned, licensed contractor for 30 years. These issues brought up here, and the dozen or so other issues not addressed here, are across not one, but 2 permits. We need to seriously consider that these might be purposeful, calculated omissions and mistakes in order to push plans through the city building department. Also, the owner's father worked for decades at the planning department. Thus, the owner may have been exposed to its many loopholes available. If anyone was qualified to know just what steps to take to mislead the city, it would be the owner of 2919 and 2924. Within this high-risk hillside district, the submitted plans take no consideration into neighborhood compatibility nor human safety. These facts should not be overlooked, especially now that we see the issues uncovered thus far, and new issues being uncovered as we continue to research these projects. We are requesting the city to revoke these permits and associated applications, and require the owner to resubmit for a new ADU permits with accurate, complete information under the current, newly adopted ADU local ordinance, and restore law and order and give the appeals process back to the citizens of this great city. This fire line and steep terrain is high risk and should not be allowed to increase that risk without properly followed procedures. If you find yourself wanting to speak out to city officials as I have, I have found a few contacts that can receive your questions, concerns, and issues below. Thank you.